the protest hierarchy, climate is down there with Amber Rose's slut walks and the Indigenous People's March. You're not supposed to make it on television. Not like the real big boy protests.
The protests are now in their 11th day.
Because we all know at the top of the protest game is only one true king. Black Lives Matter, baby!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Being the most dangerous commentary show on Beyonce's internet comes with its own set of challenges. YouTube time and time again refuses to promote our videos because we have very controversial takes on extremely sensitive subjects. So chances are, if you stumbled on this clip by accident, you'll never get to see our content again unless you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. But either way, we're glad you're here. And now, back to the clip. Folks, I spend a lot of time on this show highlighting the ills of the world. And how could I not? I scour the underbelly of the internet for your entertainment. Needless to say that the job has its dark moments. So understand my unequivocal glee when I stumble upon a video so soul-healing that it once again gives me faith in the human species. A video showcasing such unbelievable bravery on behalf of our men and women in uniform. Jesse, the glorious receipts.
Get out now! Get out! On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Don't move! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Well, rangers in Nevada weren't happy with climate protesters who were blocking off a main road. Tribal rangers, as opposed to rangers of the state, took matters into their own hands when they were fed up with the protesters who were blocking off the main road out of the popular Burning Man festival. The demonstrators were from the groups Seven Circles and Extinction Rebellion and were there to protest the use of private jets being used at the festival. They had set up camp across the road with signs saying "Ban private jets, burners of the world unite," and "Abolish capitalism." Rangers rammed through the blockade, shouting, "I'm going to take you all out," before pointing their guns and telling the protesters to get on the ground. The protesters can be heard screaming, "We are not violent and we have no weapons at all." The protesting on the Nevada freeway led to back-to-back traffic. Take a look.
Wow. Every single one of those cops deserves a Presidential Medal of Freedom. This is some of the best use of our taxpayer dollars that I have ever seen. The group responsible for that protest is called Seven Circles Alliance. And they claim that this was nothing more than a peaceful road blockade. Which brings us to the central question in this segment. Where does peaceful protesting end, and where does public nuisance begin? Blocking a single-lane road in the desert, trapping hundreds, if not thousands of people in the scorching heat is not peaceful protesting. As a matter of fact, this is amongst the top 5 most explicit ways that one can choose violence. You are willingly baking people to a crisp in the name of whatever cause you're trying to bring attention to. And newsflash, toots, climate as a cause for protest doesn't have the kind of pull you think it does. Look, I will gladly unplug my toaster on Earth Day for 45 minutes like any responsible citizen. But I'm not losing a reservation of carbon because some skinny white girl decided that she doesn't like how I fuel my car. In the protest hierarchy, climate is down there with Amber Rose's slut walks and the Indigenous Peoples March. You're not supposed to make it on television. Not like the real big boy protests. Because we all know at the top of the protest game is only one true king. Black Lives Matter, baby! Woo-hoo-hoo. Listen, BLM is the Catalina wine mixer of civil disobedience. It lands in your town like a hurricane made of fire, incinerating everything in its path. And the guest list, the guest list stacked. From Nick Cannon to Ariana Grande and Shawn Mendes, I'm talking about the who's who of polite society, always in attendance. But the best part, the best part is the gift baskets. Oh my God. The entire hood smells like Chanel No. 5. And according to the media, they are always, and I do mean always, peaceful protests. Jesse, the tranquil receipts.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly, but fires have been started, and there's a crowd that is relishing that. There is a deep sense of grievance and complaint here, and that is the thing, that when you discount people who are doing things to public property that they shouldn't be doing, it does have to be understood that this city has got, for the last several years, an issue with police, and it's got a real sense of the deep sense of grievance of inequality.
Now, I don't know how burning your local grocery store, forcing your grandmother to take 3 buses in order to get her the pans now, is the solution to police brutality. But these are matters of the heart. Logic has no place in a race riot. That's why when white people try to duplicate it, it was nothing short of an abysmal failure. Just see the disappointing receipt.
From Quebec City to Toronto to Ottawa and cities in between, protesters are taking to the streets, blaring horns, waving signs and banners, and condemning Canada's COVID-19 restrictions.
I'm here to denounce that the unvaccinated for 2 years have been shamed and thrown under the bus on the public place. It goes against freedom of speech in Canada.
The protests are now in their 11th day. They initially started as a convoy of cross-border truck drivers demanding an end to vaccine mandates. On Sunday, Ottawa's mayor declared a state of emergency after the so-called Freedom Convoy paralyzed the heart of the capital city. As of January 15th, all truckers entering Canada are required to be fully vaccinated against COVID. The U.S. has a similar mandate. Nearly 80% of Canada's population is fully vaccinated, and Canada's transport minister estimates about 90% of its truck drivers are. But the protests are no longer just about truckers. Other Canadians have joined in, directing rage at Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and strict public health measures that provinces have put in place, including mask mandates and limits on gatherings.
We had enough of all those mandates that has no sense, no scientific evidence. The people are fed up.
Prime Minister Trudeau, who recently tested positive for COVID, has not responded publicly since last week, when he voiced concern that some of the protests have gotten out of hand.
There is always a right to protest peacefully that I and others will defend fully as part.
Okay. A couple of things here. If these truckers had invested in some BLM consultants before the beginning of these protests, they would have learned a few things. One, you don't stage a protest in the dead of winter. That's a rookie mistake. Why, you think cops stop shooting unarmed black people after Labor Day? No. We put them on t-shirts and circle back in the spring. Secondly, the fact that these truckers spent 2 weeks in the street and not a single supermarket was set ablaze or a Rolex store was looted, it shows a lack of a can-do attitude. No wonder Justin Trudeau has no problem sliding through your bank accounts. He knew these guys were all bark and no bite. Absolutely preposterous.